This is the Election Bureau. Good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajua Tinkrama Domina. Coming up.
Nothing has changed. You cannot use backdoor to be majority. Majority is determined from December 7th and then affirmed in a chamber.
New Patriotic Party members of Parliament insist on being referred to as the majority caucus in the House as they accuse Speaker Alban Bagbin of bias. We'll bring you more, including this advice from governance expert Bafwa Jemendua to the Supreme Court.
Nothing has changed. You cannot use...
Also,
for the politicians first to let the citizens know the nature of the economy of the country, and they cannot bypass that and make promises that they know too well the economy cannot carry at this time.
Also coming up, Osu Traditional Council fights off encroachers on lands in parts of Accra, vowing to protect all Osu lands.
They should stop from now. Now, all the properties here that are being developed should come to an halt. We are giving them 2 weeks from today to mend themselves.
Still in the bulletin, Eastern Regional Hospital records more than 5 deaths monthly due to breast cancer as management raises alarm over rising rate of mortality.
So breast cancer, as it is not only on the rise, but it's the fact that we are getting them in a very advanced stage.
And later, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission calls on Public Service Workers Union to rescind decision to embark on industrial action effective Monday, October 21. We have details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the news is live across the globe on citynewsroom.com. Around the country, we're live on a number of affiliate stations. If you're in the Western region, tune into Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi Beach, 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Bunu region, J Life 95.5 FM in Sunyani, Ashanti region, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Akpeni Radio 96.7 in Bando, Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi. In the Northern region, Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In Upper East, Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. In Upper West, this is Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the Northeast region, this is Eagle FM 94.1. Stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your company. Let's begin on a matter that is brewing controversy, and the New Patriotic Party side in Parliament has accused Speaker Alban Bagbin of acting in favour of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, after he declared 4 parliamentary seats vacant on Thursday. The affected constituencies are Aguna West, Suhum, Amenfi Central and Fomina. The Speaker ruled that these seats have become vacant because the MPs for the respective constituencies for Aguna West, Suhum and Amenfi Central had decided to contest the upcoming elections as independent candidate. The Fomina seat was declared vacant after its independent MP chose to run in the December polls on a ticket of the New Patriotic Party. Well, leader of the NPP caucus in Parliament, Alexander Penyomarkin, speaking to journalists, criticized the Speaker's decision, suggesting it was politically motivated to bolster the chances of the NDC in the upcoming elections.
First, we are sad that Mr. Speaker, with his years of experience in parliamentary politics, will take the path he did yesterday. Basically, condescending and doing the bidding of the NDC minority. From day one, this parliament has seen one chaos or the other, or as a result of the behavior of the NDC minority, and often supported by Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker did his worst. But we are not perturbed by all these, because clearly Mr. Speaker wants to be in the good books of his party. He wants to remain Speaker again for a second term. So around this time that there's going to be elections, he wants to be seen as having helped his party to win the elections. He's no more seeing himself as a speaker who is a father of all. And that we find very disappointing and most unfortunate.
Well, you heard there Alexander Penyomakin. He's the leader of the NPP side in Parliament. Meanwhile, the NPP member of Parliament for Doma East, Paul Chumberima, insists the Speaker faulted in declaring the seats vacant.
Read Article 97 very well. If you want to go with the literal meaning, the basic English meaning, which that's what interpretation must be done, is that it's a member of Parliament shall vacate the seat. If he moves from his party to another party, has that been happening? Have you seen any person crossing the carpet to another party? You were in the chamber yesterday. Did you see anything happen like that? Have you seen?
But once you have filed to contest in the upcoming elections,
I have filed for a future something. Indeed, you work at Citi FM. If today Citi has given a contract which has a time span, and you decide that okay, I'm notifying Citi FM that in the next 3 months, or by the time my contract elapses, I want to move to another station. That automatically means that you've relinquished your position. Is that what we are saying?
Now, the Speaker in his ruling yesterday made it clear that if you base on this as a futuristic approach, then it will render the Constitution
He
invalid.
also said that he has no power to interpret the Constitution or enforce it. So on what basis did he make that decision?
Well, you had the Member of Parliament for Doma East, Paul Chumberima, interacting with our parliamentary correspondent, Nia Ikwe Okai. He has also been reacting to concerns that the decision of the NPP MPs would affect government business.
Really, what we are saying is that there has been an unconstitutionality that has been occurred in the chamber. It must be rectified. Indeed, we are law-abiding citizens, and we think the law must take its course. The law, the rightful thing must be done, and then we can work. We need to protect our constitution. We need to protect our democracy. We are not going to do anything that is going to destroy what we've built over the years. We must work together, and that is what the leader just said, that we are going to make sure we use the rightful means, the appropriate channel, to ensure we get the right thing done, and then the parliamentary activities can continue, and that's what we are doing.
This should take more than 2 weeks. Obviously, you are going to be
I don't think so it's going to get there, because they know the agency, the Supreme Court, everybody knows the agency of this matter. The governance is involved. This goes to the core of governance, and therefore we must, as a matter of urgency, make sure that we resolve this issue.
Member of Parliament for Doma East, Paul Chumberima, speaking to Nia Ikwe Okai. Well, Nia Ikwe joins us live on the phone. He's our parliamentary correspondent. Ikwe, good afternoon. Thank you for your time here today on the news. It must be a busy day in Parliament.
Well, today there is no sitting. After yesterday's proceedings, the House was adjourned to Tuesday, but we've had the now minority group addressing journalists in Parliament on the next line of action that they will take. Obviously, the now minority leader, Alexander Afenyomakin, has filed an injunction writ at the court. So, just like he indicated yesterday, until a pronouncement has been made, the caucus will not partake in any parliamentary business. They believe that there was no petition from any political party demanding the declaration of these 4 seats vacant. So, the Speaker's action was unlawful. It wasn't in the best interest of the state. The Speaker is only seeking to secure a second term by doing the bidding of the NDC. So they feel that the Speaker's action wasn't appropriate. It was disappointing, and they would ensure that they take any legal action that is deemed fit to ensure that they reverse this particular decision.
Well, you have been getting reactions. What have these people been telling you, especially the deputy minority leader who now should be the deputy majority leader, Emmanuel Amakufibua?
Yeah, so after the press conference by the now minority leader, Alexander Afenyomakin, we've engaged the now deputy majority leader, Emmanuel Amakufibua, who has also elaborated some of the key things that they intend to also roll out within the few weeks that they have. They are saying that key things will be the abolishment of the 1B, 1F tax incentive. They feel that it does not inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian citizens. It's only going to compile the country's debt stock. So they are going to ensure that, as they've already indicated that they are not in support of them, they would ensure that these things do not see the light of day. Also, the Supreme Court judge nominees that were vetted by the Appointments Committee, they are going to ensure that these people will not be approved by the House. He has stated categorically that already they were against the adding up of these charges to the interest. Is nipped in the bud.
Very well. Very well. Thank you so much, Nia Ikwe Okan reports to us from Parliament. Let's now hear from the Elembele MP, Emmanuel Amakufibua.
Our steps in Parliament in the next few weeks must focus on giving the people of Ghana some tax relief if we have the opportunity to do so. Our steps in Parliament must focus on the steps we take to basically address the destruction of our water bodies and the pollution and the destruction of our forest. The steps we take must basically ensure that the financial stability of our country is what we focus on, and that the impunity, the uncontrolled impunity will stop. And our job, and we can assure the people of Ghana, that this new majority is going to basically hold the line and tell this Akufo-Addo Bawumia government that we are in charge of Parliament and the impunity will stop. We will support government to do the business that are in the interest of the people of Ghana. But we will not support the government to continue to basically pile on the pain to the people of Ghana.
Emmanuel Amakufibua is Member of Parliament for Elembele constituency. Well, his colleague in Bolgatanga East, Dominic Ayeni, was speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show earlier today, and he says they are going to scrap some levies in the few sittings that Parliament has before they rise.
Yeah, we'll repeal it, yes. And you know why I'm saying that? I'm sure people will quote Article 108 to me and say, these are tax measures, they are fiscal measures. Article 108 says that for tax measures, if it is to reduce the tax, private members' bills can work. All right? And if, e-levy is 0.1 or 0.5% or something, and we come and repeal it, it means that it's not going to be zero. Nobody will pay e-levy. It means that we can bring, tax legislation to do a lot of work in the House.
I thought that for most of the things that Parliament does, President still has to assent, right? So if you do, at least when it comes to, so if...
Well, no, we will send them to him. If he refuses to assent to them, he has to write back to us to say why he's refusing. All right? If he doesn't, we'll go ahead and then, pass the law.
So that's MP for Bolgatanga East, Dominic Ayene, and he's also former Deputy Attorney General. He was speaking to Bernard Avle on the Citi Breakfast Show earlier this morning. We have more reactions on this for you. This time it's coming from a governance analyst, Professor Bafo Ajimandua, who is urging the Supreme Court to speedily rule on a case brought before it by Alexander Penyo-Marking. Speaking to Citi News, Professor Bafo Ajimandua, while admitting the impact of the ruling of the Speaker on government business for the remaining session of Parliament, as the current situation, he says, will create needless chaos.
I'm not surprised that the NPP decided to boycott Parliament, just as I will not be surprised if the Supreme Court were to rule in the favor of the NPP. I'm sure the NDC will take a similar action. This has been the kinds of the dynamics that we've been observing in our politics over the past years. So, look, we have barely 4 weeks or 5 weeks to go to end this Parliament. So all these, whilst it's interesting that we are testing our democracy, at the same time it's also creating needless chaos in our system. So I am praying that the Supreme Court will make an early decision on this so that we can settle down. As for the boycott,
without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD Plus boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back to the bulletin. We bring you some more election-related stories. And a former member of parliament for Techima North, Alex Treme, says the NDC has resolved issues that led to the loss of the Techima South seat to the NPP in the 2020 elections. The former deputy education minister believes this will enable the party take back the seat in the 2024 elections, accusing the New Patriotic Party of doing little to change the fortunes of the people. Or speaking to constituents as part of the tour of the vice presidential candidate of the NDC, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, the former deputy education minister, says a constituency ought to be won in December for the NDC.
We've done everything humanly possible to solve the problem. There was this unity among members of the party here. And this morning you saw the guy who went for independent the last 4 years. He's now with us. And then our former member of parliament, who for some reasons maybe decided to opt out and sit back, he is also here. So we've been able to bring everybody on board. And we are sure that this time we'll take our seat back. For the past 8 years, they have not done anything. And that is enough to tell you that the community appreciates NDC more than NPP. This is a Pesika for you. This is a very small community. But look at the number of people here. You know, this is a very small community, but look at the number of people here. It tells you that this time around we win.
That's the former MP for Techima North. You heard the former MP for Techima North, Alex Treme. Away from that, the Osu Traditional Council has demanded that developers on lands at Legon and Westlands provide documentation of legal acquisition and payment or stop construction immediately. Now, the council claims that the developers are encroaching on Osu's 2 lands allocated to the government, not for private sale. It also urged the University of Ghana authorities to cease leasing or selling lands originally granted to the university for educational purposes. Speaking to Citi News, leader of the group, Ninote Adumwa, who also serves as the Osiahene of the Osustu, emphasized that the Traditional Council is committed to protecting all Osustu lands.
Lego is an institution and they have no rights. Lego never acquired this land. It's the government which acquired the land. Lego should stop giving leases and stop giving people. I'm speaking to the Lego estate, one of the estate managers. They have confirmed that they were giving leases and what have you. They should stop from now. Now, all the properties here that are being developed should come to an halt. We are giving them 2 weeks from today to mend themselves. 2 weeks from today to mend themselves, or else they will laugh at the wrong side of their mouths. We shall fight. We shall fight. We shall bulldoze. We shall make sure that we will leave those stones standing untouched. And for this building you are seeing behind me, as for the owner, whatever message he gave out, we shall give him equal measure of that message. Yes. Because he sent a message that for him, Lego should give him here. This part is not part of Lego. Lego should give him here. And he has the chest to face Osu and anybody that will come. We don't have the chest. We have the head.
Ninote Adumwa is Osiahene of the Osu stool. Let's do some matters on education now. The Ghana Education Service has released the academic calendar for the 2024-2025 academic year for basic schools and senior high schools. The academic calendar for basic and senior high schools has been significantly impacted after the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the academic year will begin on October 30, with current first-year students expected to complete their 2023-24 academic year on October 28 before being promoted to Form 2 after a 2-week break. Now, this reopening date is designed to ensure that senior high schools resume in September, allowing final year SHS students to sit for the WASI in May and June as in previous years. Now, Public Relations Officer of the Education Ministry, Kwesi Kwarteng Frimpong, stated that the goal is to create a system where the academic calendar aligns with that of the universities.
If we recall, post-COVID, our calendar was a bit misaligned, particularly if we want to reference it to what pertains within the West African sub-region, and the fact that Ghana, we are a signatory to the WAEC Treaty, where we together with other West African communities write WAEC exams in the form of WASI. As at now, all countries are writing their exams in May, June, but it is only Ghana that we are still doing July, August. I mean, if you record this year, we did around August, September. So that also comes at a very huge and expensive cost to the state, because after WAEC had organized a collective exams for the rest of the West African communities, they also have to assemble examiners, print different questions for us and what have you. And that also comes at a very huge cost to the state that we want to do away with. But even beyond that, we also want to create a system where our calendar at the senior high school level will be able to align with the university's calendar, particularly when it comes to the admission system. I mean, previously, we all know that students go to school in September in terms of university admission, but that has changed for some years now. And this exercise is also be able to streamline that process, because at the end of the day, what essentially is happening is that there is even incoherence and inconsistency when it comes to admission system at the university's level. And lecturers may have to even work all year round, which may also not be a very good sign at the end of the day.
Well, Kwesi Kwarteng also says concerns about being shortchanged in terms of contact hours have been also addressed with the new calendar released.
I think there has been concerns from some parents that their awards are being shortchanged. On the face value, that is what may appear. The cumulative contact hours that students are having, the minimum that they are having under their semester basis is 1,280 hours, as compared to 1,260 hours even when we were running the trimester system. So yes, I admit that if originally, if you look at students who were scheduled to vacate around 5th December, and they having to vacate around 28th of October, that is about 1 month shortage. But as they progress, particularly when they go to, second year, those contact hours, has been spread in days, in contact hours that we've also made provisions to augment for it. It is instructive to know that, this whole exercise is just to help streamline and realign the academic calendar to revert back to the old normal that we used to be.
You heard the Public Relations Officer of the Education Ministry, Kwesi Kwarteng Frimpong. Away from that, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has urged the Public Sector Workers Union to reconsider a strike scheduled for October 21, 2024. The union claims the strike is in response to the Commission's failure to meet its demands for the payment of institution-specific allowances. However, in a statement, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission stated that the decision to strike violates the rules of engagement agreed upon while negotiations are still ongoing. The Commission also notes that a strike will further delay the negotiation process. Here are excerpts of the statement read to you by Citi News' Kennedy Chumesi.
It is important to emphasize that some public sector workers' union organizations already enjoy institution-specific allowances. Hence, the parties agreed to focus on the institutions that do not enjoy any allowances. On 28 September 2024, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission submitted cost implication scenarios on the 2 institution-specific allowances requested by the Public Sector Workers Union for member organizations that do not receive institution-specific allowances to the Ministry of Finance. Therefore, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission cannot be cited for unduly delaying negotiations, since the Commission has to follow the necessary processes to secure mandate and conclude negotiations. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission wishes to state that the decision to embark on strike from 21st October 2024 is against the rules of engagement. It is important to emphasize that embarking on strike action would rather cause delays in the negotiations, since engagement cannot continue while a party at the negotiation table is on strike.
Citi News' Kennedy Chumesi with excerpts of the statements released by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Let's bring you some more stories this afternoon. The New Patriotic Party says it supports the decision of its caucus in Parliament while awaiting the decision of the Supreme Court on the dismissal of some MPs from the House. The NPP caucus has criticised Speaker Alban Bagwin for declaring the parliamentary seats of 4 MPs vacant following a motion filed by the NDC side of Parliament. Now, a Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, reiterated the party's position on the matter.
For us, we are in full support of the majority's decision to stay out of Parliament until the determination is made. But as a party, we would take a decision if a determination is made by the Supreme Court. Then the party at National Executive Committee will take a decision on this matter. So until then, we will all be looking to the Supreme Court to take a decision as soon as possible so that we can bring finality to this particular matter.
That's the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. Let's bring you one of our headline stories. Management of the Eastern Regional Hospital is expressing concern about the rising mortality rate among young women due to breast cancer. According to management of the hospital, cases being recorded normally come at advanced stages, a situation which is making it very difficult to treat, as more than 5 deaths are now being recorded monthly. Speaking to journalists after organizing a float, a clinical director at the hospital, Dr. Foster Amponsa, indicated that early detection is key to effective treatment of breast cancer.
Breast cancer, as it is not only on the rise, but it's the fact that we are getting them in a very advanced stage. And the worst part of it is that the mortality is happening in the young. So breast cancer is killing most of our young women. And this is becoming alarming. You can count more than 5 deaths every month from breast cancer. And this is even putting it on the low side. That tells you that breast cancer is highly on the rise in this country. Early detection is the key to effective treatment. Once people examine themselves, once people screen themselves earlier, we can easily detect breast cancer and treat them.
That's the clinical director at the Eastern Regional Hospital, Dr. Foster Amponsa. Now, the chief executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the AMA, Elizabeth Saki, has announced plans to build a larger biogas facility at Kaneshi to meet the growing demand for clean energy. This announcement was made during the commissioning of a new biogas plant developed in partnership with Das Biogas and Construction Company, which will process up to 180 tons of organic waste daily into clean cooking gas and organic fertilizer. Elizabeth Saki also highlighted the AMA's plans to revise its bylaws to require household hotels and businesses to separate solid waste and source to enhance clean energy production.
This will go a long way to enhance the capacity of the Assembly to deliver on its climate action plan, especially in the waste sector. It is cost-effective and environmentally friendly, which can be integrated and perfect for a variety of settings, including apartments, schools, private homes, hospitals, hotels, estate, public toilets, and offices and factories. The Assembly is determined to ensure that the traditional waste disposal methods such as landfilling and incinerations would become a thing of the past, and currently implementing metro-wide solid waste separation. In furtherance to this, steps are being taken to review the Assembly's bylaw to make it mandatory for solid waste to be separated.
You heard the Chief Executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Elizabeth Saki, and that brings us to the end of today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. Log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. You can also remember to follow us on all your election-related stories using the hashtags Citi Verifies, hashtag Election Bureau, and hashtag Ghana Post 2024. My name is Ajuatin Kramadomna. Thank you for your company. Good afternoon.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.
Charlie, this